Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Name parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam varta evacha karmani. I have no duties whatsoever in all the three worlds, or all the three times, the past, the present and the future. Yet I act, though I have nothing to gain from my actions, nor there is anything that is to be gained by me, because I have everything. I am everything. So there is no reason, no karana for this karya, for me to do action in the world. Then why do I act? What is the need for it? So he says, Yadyada charati shreshtham tatad deve tarojana sayat pramanam kurute lokas tadanuvartate. As the noble people conduct themselves in the society and set an example for others to follow, others who are the otherwise ordinary people who do not really know what is the goal of life, what is to be done with one's life, what is the way to lead one's life, they get an example out of these noble people, and they also set on this path of spirituality and goodness. Thereby what is achieved? Thereby the atmano mokshartam of those who are walking on the spiritual path is achieved. And because atmano mokshartam of those walking on the spiritual path is achieved, therefore lokahitaya or jagathitaya is also taken care of. So the very reason why any noble person acts in the society is not for any selfish gain, because there is nothing as nan avaptam avaptavyam. There is nothing that they have to gain, and there is nothing they have not already gained. There is nothing that is to be achieved, and there is nothing that they have already not achieved in their own lives. They are fulfilled. They are paryapta kamasya. They have all their desires are over, and therefore there is no desire because of which they operate in the society. They only operate under the great divine will from the Shanta Atmani, which is guiding their footsteps. So when, what, where, how, why things it has to be done, it is not their own personal interest or initiative. They are just flowing, going with the flow of the great divine consciousness that operates through them. And therefore when Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita again that these people, how devotees should be anapeksha, they don't have any desires. Shuchihi, pure, dakshaha, very, very capable. Udasina, very detached. Katavyataha, whatever comes and goes, they are not clinging on to things. Past is past, future is future. Whatever to be done today, they do and they forget about it. And sarvaramba parityagi, such a person has given up all doership, given up all the idea of initiating things, all the idea of starting new things. I want to do this, I want to do that. Not just for their personal sake, but even for the sake of society. Let us build one more hospital. Let us start 2 more schools. Let us do this, do that. This is also not their interest. They appear to take interest and do many things in the world, but the truth is they are all being driven by the great divine consciousness of Brahman, which wants them to do whatever they are doing. On their own, according to their own desire or will, they don't do anything. Because they are so absorbed in the Shanta Atmani, their mind, their body, their buddhi, their senses, everything is working according to the great divine will. That life is the life of true fulfillment. All others who live according to either individual buddhi, I must become this, I must do that for my own sake or for the sake of my immediate relatives, or those who work under the Mahati Atmani, that let me not just think selfishly, let me think selflessly, let me serve many people, let me care for many more. And so therefore I should start new projects and new things. That is Mahati Atmani. But this Shanta Atmani people are those, they don't initiate anything on their own. So that is why I always say, under the great Brahman's divine will, everything happens. When to start a Shibira, when to end, what subject to teach, what not to teach, who should attend, who should not attend, who should run away halfway through, who should stay on. Everything is under the great divine cosmic will. All this is happening under Shanta Atmani. Somebody asked a question, so I gave this background. That why these people, noble people who seem to be so busy doing so many things in the world, are they doing it for their sake, to get some recognition, name, some reward, or collect disciples and gurus? So that is not their reason. So if you look at from that point of view, what is the need for any avatar to come, whether Shirdi Baba, Satyai Baba or anybody to come? Not for collecting devotees and gathering masses and becoming popular, famous and very powerful. Not at all. Because they already are popular, they already are powerful. They don't need your acknowledgement and endorsement to make them powerful. They already are as they are. They know who they are. Then why do they behave like this in the world, taking up activities, meeting people, conducting camps, teaching them all kinds of things, only for the sake of helping you develop that love for divine and realize who that divine is. And finally you come to know, oh, I was thinking there is another bird in the same tree, but there is no other bird, it is me only. This is all that finally you have to come to a realization. So that is the idea. So everything that is in this world is happening. Somebody has asked, is it under the power of Brahman only? Yes, of course, everything is in the power of Brahman. Then all the bad that happens, what happens to those? Are these also under Brahman's will? Then as I said, see, Brahman's will is that you should lead a life of purity, of spirituality and realize Brahman. That is all Brahman wants. He is not interested in how rich you are, how big you are. It is all glass marbles for him. Why? What will he know about how much money you have collected, what you have done? That is not interested in. He didn't create politicians, he didn't create religions, he didn't create boundaries, he didn't create castes, he didn't create all these things. He just created a beautiful world and gave everybody a chance to live, and then he wants everybody to live a pure life in the love of God and ultimately realize God. That's all is the purpose of the creation. Then why all this confusion? Because on the way there is something called mind, and this mind started deviating from the original idea, like father sends the child to the market, go get me some medicine to the shop. Now child goes on the way, some other friend meets, then they take deviation, forget about everything and go round and round and round and round and finally forgets that what is the real purpose he came for. And he forgets the name of the medicine only, for what he had gone. So this is what happens to the man because of the vagaries of the mind and because of the pull of the senses. They forget the very reason why they are here. And then satisfying their senses, appeasing and pleasing their mind, that becomes their pursuit of life. And they think they are getting joys out of it. Yes, small pleasures come, prayo marga. But then what happens ultimately at the end of their life, when body is not going to cooperate, they cannot enjoy food or rest or any other pleasures of body. Mind is become weak, they cannot remember their own name. They can't remember their address. And buddhi, forget it, they don't have any buddhi left at all. Everything has become feeble and weak. That time they are miserable. Because their own children don't talk to them, nobody cares for them, and nobody wants anything. They are all waiting for the person to die so that the property can be distributed. At that point in time, the misery is tremendous. The only person who dies peacefully is the one who has lived in the path of God. All others die in agony only. So that is why all this path has been taught, spirituality has been taught. There is nothing that God needs to gain out of it. Neither he will lose anything if you don't follow. But he will be happy if you follow and you also benefit and help others to benefit from this. That's all is the purpose. Beyond that there is nothing. So some questions have been asked why this, when Alexander the Great raised his hand and at the end of the casket was been taken in a casket, what was that motivated him to ask that? Was he operating from Shanta Atmani? Looks like, at least as an individual king, he wouldn't show that I am a beggar going back empty-handed. Which king would want such kind of a funeral ceremony? Every king would like a very pompous and grand ceremony. But he wanted to send a point across to the people that even though I have conquered of the world, but I don't take a piece of earth with me. I'm going empty-handed. So obviously at some point, that I will say, when people die, you really know how they have lived. If they smile and leave the body as if they're changing clothes, old clothes have been discarded and taking a new clothes, then you know that this person knows spirituality. That's why I'll say the way people die, that is the way you can easily infer what kind of life they have led. Because you may not know their history, what all they have done in their lives. But on their deathbed, how they behave. That is a clear indication of whether they have led a very spiritual life or worldly life. Those who cry and go, I don't want to go, I want to live some more years, my children, my grandchildren, I wanted to finish that project, I wanted to finish this. All these people have not learnt anything. Those who smile, even though they might have huge projects to undertake, they might have small children to look after, even though they might be expecting a huge honor or award from the people. Yet if the time comes and they say we have to go, they just drop everything and walk away. Those people alone have lived a life of spirituality. All those who cry and complain towards the end of their lives, they have not lived a spiritual life. Those who pleasantly, peacefully, whatever be the situation, live without any attachment, without any remorse, without any guilt, without any desires, those people alone have reached the destination. So this is how it is. See, if you know that you are not the body, then anything related to body should not cause any fear, anxiety, or desires in you. If the whole Upanishad and Vedanta says you are not the body, you are not the mind. These are just manifestations in which you are, and you are the great Parabrahman only, operating through these things. It means, how do you know you have become spiritual and you have understood these Upanishads? The fear of death should disappear. If the fear of death is still haunting you, and you are this hope that I will live on forever under God's grace is still lingering in your mind, then you know that you have not learnt much of spirituality. Then you will say, no, fear, I don't have any fear for dying. I can die any day. But you see, I have children to look after. Then somebody else will say, I have so much loans. If I don't pay those loans, then my children will have to pay. Therefore, I cannot live. So I have to live and earn to pay the loans and go. Then somebody will say, my children are still young. They have to get married. And then their children have to get married. And then their children have to get married. And then their children have to get married. After that only I am planning to leave. All these people are people full of ignorance. They have not understood anything of spirituality. They may be great devotees of God. Why? So that God can keep extending their life. The great devotees of God. Why? Because God should keep on forgiving their mistakes and not make them suffer. Why they are great devotees of God? Because by being that, God will help them to clear their loans and problems in life and fulfill all their desires. Only to that extent. The real devotee of God, the real person of spirituality, the acid test, the litmus test for them is no fear of death. The one who has gotten rid of mrityu bhaya at whatever age, whatever time, whatever place, whatever juncture of life he or she is, that person has become spiritual. All other people are not spiritual. So that is the simple one single test for anybody who is spiritual. You can't give excuses. At that time, I'm still a young boy, I'm yet to get married, I'm just married, I had to have a child, I just had a child is yet to grow, child has just grown, yet to get married, child's marriage later, my grandchild is yet to be born. And then, this excuse goes on and on and on. These people are not at all spiritual. Anytime, anywhere, whenever, you should be fearless. When death comes, you should just look into death's eyes and say, okay, fine, if time has come, let us go. I have no reason to stay back and beg you and ask you, please leave me alone some more time, give me extension. They have no such ideas. That is the idea. That is why Nachiketa, when he went to Yama was surprised that here is a boy who could have asked for anything, but he is asking me for the truth. Most of the people fall at my feet and beg, saying that leave me alone. I have still small children, I have still young man or a woman, I have still so much to do, and come back later, don't bother me. So what I am only trying to say is that fear of death is what finally drives every human. Once it so happened that Birbal and Akbar had an argument, and Akbar said that mother's love is the most selfless and mother will do anything for the child. So Birbal said, yes, as long as the mother's life is not in danger, she'll do anything for the child. He said, no, mother will not be like that, mother will do anything. So Birbal says, I will prove it. What does he do? He brings a big vessel and puts a monkey and a baby monkey inside the vessel, mother monkey and baby monkey, and starts filling water. So first, as the water starts coming up, the mother monkey picks up the baby and holds it to her chest. When water comes to the chest, she puts it on her shoulder. When water comes to the shoulder, she puts the monkey on her head. And when water comes to her own head, she throws the baby down and stands on it to save herself. That's all ultimate relationship in life is. Nobody is going to exchange their life for your life. All this is story. Tere bina ji nahi sakte, mar nahi sakte. All these are stories. Nobody has been like that. Nobody has given life for anybody else. It's always been you, yourself. Very rarely you will find people. So the idea is this, that fear of death alone drives people to do what they do. Why you want to eat food? Why do you want to keep healthy? Why do you want to earn money? So that we can live long and enjoy our senses and mind, that's all. And through that our relationships, possessions. But the person who has conquered the fear of death, that person alone has become spiritual. All others are pseudo-spirituals only. Think about this point deeply. That only if you have conquered the fear of death, then only these Upanishads have become relevant to you, then only you have become spiritual. By singing bhajans, by doing this, doing that, participating in seva activities, doing that, all this is not spirituality. Real spirituality is when you have no fear, especially the biggest fear that people have generally is fear of death. Because after that nothing remains. What will remain? How much ever you earned, how much ever you stored, accumulated, amassed, none of these matter. So the fear of death is the biggest fear. If you get rid of and you have no fear, every day you will live according to divine will. And whenever divine wants to bring, he brought us, did we decide and what come at the right time? We don't have any experience of how we came in the world. We don't even know the parents we think our parents are really our parents. Somebody told you these are your parents. Who did the DNA test to find her? Mother, this lady who was next to us all the time, we called her mother. And this mother who pointed towards a man and said, this is your father, we believe the father. And then both of them pointed towards the teacher, we believe the teacher. And teacher now points towards God, we believe the teacher and think that we are God. So this is how everything is based on Shraddha, faith only. Nothing else is there in this world. Faith alone is the reason why this world goes on. If we lose faith in each other, next moment we will become enemies. Because we have still faith and trust in each other, the world goes on. Therefore, you have to live your life based on this faith that everything is under great divine will. And therefore, whatever happens, it may appear to me as bad, or it may appear to me as good, or it may appear to other people as good or bad, but I know that it is under great divine will. And therefore, fear of death should not haunt us. Never. Why? Because who dies? That is what Ashtavakra says. Who dies? You are not the body. Body comes and goes. You have taken many births before. This is not the first time. What is the big deal in getting attached again to this body? So Upanishad, what did you learn from Upanishad? Upanishad means I am not the body. Then what you are? I am the Atman. Atman does not die. Atman is not born. Atman doesn't change. Atman is constant. That is what I am. You learn from Upanishad. So let the body go. No. Body also I have to keep. Atman is fine. It means Dehabhimana has not gone. Then your Upanishad's knowledge has not become complete in you. It is a theory knowledge, intellectual understanding. So the one who has developed spiritual understanding, first thing will happen is they will lose fear. And all the fears, fear of losing their good name, fear of losing their friends, fear of losing money or position, those fears are one side. The biggest fear is fear of losing one's own body. That fear also disappears because of the understanding of Upanishad. So Upanishads, that's why I say, Abhihi, they declare. Please, the Upanishads said, you be fearless, be fearless, be fearless. Because fearful people cannot lead a happy life. What is the guarantee? Today you are going outside. What is the guarantee a car will not come and hit you? So Harati Nimishat Kalat Sarvam. Any moment anything can happen. Knowing it very well that this is so temporary, don't invest too much of your time and energy on this body and the mind. Rather think of God and spend your time realizing the true self, knowing which no fear remains. Vidyate hridaya granthi, chidyante sarva samshaya, kshiyante chasya karmani, tasmin drishte paravare, Mundaka Upanishad says. Vidyante, all the doubts of the heart are destroyed. Which are the doubts? Avidya, ignorance. What? That I am the body and therefore I need to preserve and protect this body, and body goes means there is nothing left for me. No, that is avidya. Because this kama karma, this is hridaya granthi, that is destroyed. And all the samshayas, what will happen next birth? Will my purva janma karmas chase me to the next birth? And something, will I be born in this family? Will I be born in that family? All these doubts disappear. Everything is a drama. What role will I get next drama? It doesn't matter. Whatever role comes, I'm fine. No role comes also, I'm fine. I'm happy sit as audience and watch the drama. Doesn't matter to me. So like that, all the doubts will disappear then. And shiyante chasya karmani, their karmas are all destroyed. It does not mean the karmas of the previous life which will be destroyed so that this life you don't have to suffer and all. The doership is destroyed. When there is no doership, where is the action done? You don't consider that you are the doer, then how can the action's result be attached to you? It's not. Because those actions have been transferred or it's been done by the divine under Brahman's will. So therefore I am not the doer. That is how akritritvam, non-doership comes into picture. That's how shiyante chasya karmani. That's how, because you don't have any doership for your karma, therefore there are no karmas associated with you anymore. You means people say, how does agami karma, future karma is getting destroyed, or sanchit karma is getting destroyed? It's not some, like some things where you shoot it down and they get destroyed. No, the idea is that the doership gets destroyed. There is no doership, therefore those karmas are no more associated with you. And if something comes also, hardly you are bothered. Because you are not the body, you are not the mind, so why should you worry? That's why I was asking, when you are not the body, you are not the mind, then what is your problem? Whether you go today, Ashtavakra Gita says, whether you go today or you go after one Brahma's day. In one Brahma's day, there are so many Manvantaras, there are so many yugas, yugas, all that has happened. Runs into like billions of years. You live that long, or you must go today. How does it matter to a spiritual person when he has not identified himself or herself with the body? Beyond that, you are infinite. When the bulbs get fused, electricity has no loss. Bulb might have gone off, but has the electricity lost anything? Electricity is the same. When a wave comes in the ocean and goes out, ocean is the same. One wave came and went, what is the big deal? Likewise, the person who is really spiritual will not bother about body, will not bother about possessions, relations. Then how do they behave in the world? Should they be interested at all? Because it seems like they should not be. No, they are not going to make any emotional investments anywhere. They will go about doing what is required, that's it. Body is there, it has to be fed, cleaned, clothed, and it should behave, it should do some work in the society as per the divine will, they do their job. Beyond that, they don't get entangled and involved in everything. Whatever comes, comes. Whatever goes, goes. They are unaffected by coming and going of things, of people, even their own body. They are not at all affected by that. That is true spirituality. So these Upanishads, this whole thing, once you realize yourself, tasmin drishte paravare, the one who sees the higher self, that person becomes free from doubts, free from doership, and free from this ignorance that is or she is the body. This is the Falashruti of reading Upanishads. Three things. First, vidyate hridaya grantihi, your heart's knot is destroyed. Avasadana gati, or vinashti or nasha. That happens when? Only when you realize Upanishadic truth, that you are not the body, the avidya goes away. Because avidya goes away, kama goes away. I want this, I want to do that. So what should you do then? Whatever God's will is there, it will flow. I will operate from the Shanta Atmani. And though no karma, why? Because you are not the doer. Whatever God has done, I have done. Suppose you are serving some master, and the master says that you go and do some work and come back. You are doing on behalf of whom? Your master. Then that work should not affect you because you did. Suppose a judge passes a judgment and the person has to be hanged. The hangman who is hanging the person is not going to attain any karma. He is just doing his job because he's been told by the judge. He is just doing his job. Likewise, you just do your job under the divine will of Brahman. So therefore, no karma for you. That's why she is first vidyate hridaya granti, avidya, kama, karma gone. Then chidyante sarva samshaya. All doubts disappear. What kind of doubts? Who are they? Who am I? What is all this? Everything is Brahman. Simple. And one answer to all your questions. Sarvam kalvidam Brahman. All doubt disappear after that. Why it is happening? Why Brahman is so unjust to me? Why he is so cruel to me? Why he is so nice to them? All these questions disappear. Because there are no answers to some of these questions. The only answer is know it under great divine Brahman's will. Everything is perfect as it is. All these chidyante sarva samshaya. Then kshiyante chasya karmani. All the karmas are destroyed. How? Because the doership is destroyed. Doership is born out of body and mind. When both you don't associate yourself with, then doership is destroyed. And because the doership is destroyed, how? Tasmin drishte paravare, having seen the highest, having understood and realized the highest, the doership is destroyed. So all the Upanishads should ultimately lead you to these three things. All your knot of the heart, this ignorance that you are the body should disappear. Therefore all your desires and wanting to do actions should disappear. And then second thing is, all your doubts about why this world is like that, why it's so cruel, why so many people are suffering it, everything is Brahman, then why Brahman is not kind to the blind and the migrant workers and those who are poor. All these questions will disappear out of your mind. And finally your doership will disappear, because of which no karmas and no karma prabhavas for you. Therefore punarapi jananam maranam, everything disappears for such a person. But all this happens if you have truly understood the Upanishads and you have practiced it in your life wholeheartedly. So know that these are the things that is the falashruti of Upanishadic truths, and your fears will disappear because your ignorance disappears. And the biggest fear that disappears is fear of death. This is what is most important. This knowledge is not about outside, not about somebody else or something like science or mathematics or physics or chemistry, biology. This is about yourself. You should be most interested in this knowledge. Even biology is about myself. No, that is about your body. Psychology is about your mind. Spirituality is actually about your true self, which is the Atman. So this subject should be the most important subject for you in your life, because you should know everything about who you are and what it means to be here. Why are we here? This is the most important. After that you study everything else. That is the idea.